AD minus BC. You see, AD minus BC. If it is greater than 0, then the upper half plane is mapped to upper half plane. Upper half plane is mapped to upper half plane. What do you mean by upper half plane? इसको H plus से denote करते हैं. What is H plus? It is set of all Z belongs to C such that upper half plane में क्या होता है? Yes, real part of Z is always positive. Oh, sorry, imaginary part. Upper half की बात करें हम लोग. It will be ऊपर वाला part. Imaginary part of Z is always positive. This is H plus. And what will be your H minus? It will be set of all Z belongs to C such that imaginary part of Z is your less than 0. So it is lower half plane. So if your AD minus BC is positive, then upper half plane maps to upper half plane. Correct? What if it is negative? If AD minus BC is negative, then this H plus is mapped to S minus. H plus is mapped to H minus. That means upper half plane will be mapped to lower half plane. Okay? Yes. One more example, maybe suppose you are having this function f of z equal to cot z, which is what? Cos z upon sin z. And if somebody asks you find residue of the function f of z, find residue of function f of z. Correct? So for residue, do you see how many poles are there? Sin z 0 मतलब कितने poles आएंगे? So z equal to n pi. Correct? Because z equal to n pi, this will be not defined. So there are infinitely many, actually countable infinite many poles for this. So how can you find residue of this function? So for this type of question also, there is a technique. So let me just write. Let two function P of z and Q of z be analytic at a point z naught if P of z naught is non-zero and Q of z naught is 0. That means indirectly they want to say z naught is a pole and Q dash of z naught is also non-zero. It is non-zero. That means we are talking about simple pole. Then z naught is a simple pole. Simple pole of the quotient P of z upon Q of z. Okay, and residue at z equal to z naught of P of z upon Q of z, it is just P of z naught upon Q dash of z. Q dash of z naught. Nice. So read this statement carefully and try to apply it here. The first thing you need to make sure that your pole must be a simple pole. So in this case, do you see it is a simple pole? Z equal to n pi. It is a simple pole. It is not repeating two times. For different value of n, it is having different. Z equal to pi, 2 pi, 3 pi. Everybody is a pole for me. So what next? and whether this is satisfying this condition. P of z not is non-zero. P of cos z क्या होता है, -1/n होता है, that is cos of n pi, that is -1/n, sin of n pi, that is 0. So both the condition is satisfying. What is derivative of sin z, that is cos z. So again p dash of z is also satisfying. So what will be your final answer? If your function is cot z, that is cos z upon sin z, so residue of f of z at z equal to n pi, it will be p of n pi upon q dash of n pi. What is p and q? This is p, नीचे वाला q, p of z, and this is q of z. So what is p of n pi? That is -1/n. Q dash लिया तो that will be again -1/n. So answer is 1. So residue of the function is 1. And see, which I told you one question about z plus 1 and z plus I think, correct? Oh, yes, this one, z plus 1, z plus I. In general, I can say about E and B. The thing is that the ratio of this 1 and I, they must be a complex number, or ratio must be a complex number. I'll write it here only, maybe if I get some time. Say, if f is entire and f of z plus e, that is same as f of z, and that is same as f of z plus b, correct, for all z belongs to C. And where e and b must be non-zero complex number, e and b must be C minus 0. And one more thing, such that e upon b should not belongs to R. This is the case, then we say that then f is constant. This is you need to remember. Your e upon b must be non-zero. Non-zero and e upon b must not belongs to R. And one more thing, this is the important part. If an entire function omits two values, then it must be constant. Then it must be a constant function. Okay, this is for an entire function, correct? Now what about meromorphic function? See, suppose I am giving a meromorphic function. Say phi of z equal to 1 upon 1 plus e raised to z. So first of all, this is not entire function. This is what you need to understand. And do you see, this is a meromorphic function. This is I can write it as quotient of two people, p of z and q of z, where each of them is entire function. So this is a meromorphic function. And do you see that this can be never 0? Can this be 1? Can this value be 1? It will be 1 only if 1 and 1 plus e raised to z will be same. But 1 plus e raised to z, it will be never 1, because the right hand side is -1. If you put 1 plus e raised to z equal to 0, so e raised to z is -1, which cannot be 1 anywhere. So do you see, this function omits two value. This can be never 0, this can be never 1. Omits means I am talking about range of the function, okay? If an entire function omits two values, that is, it is not taking these two values. In the range set, these two values are not there. Correct? It is for entire function, but this is a meromorphic function. So answer would be a meromorphic function can omit two values. Correct? So you can say this omits two values, but still it is not constant. Not constant. Correct? So what about meromorphic function? A meromorphic function can omit two values. So that's why the famous guy, that is Picard. Picard says every meromorphic function, every meromorphic function, say phi in C, can omit sorry, phi in C that omits three distinct values, three distinct values is a constant function. Correct? So याद रखना, for entire, if it omits two values then it must be constant, and for meromorphic it must omit three distinct values, then it will be a constant function. Okay. And one more, let us see some power series. If you see sin hyperbolic, sin inverse hyperbolic के बारे में पता नहीं लिखा था कि नहीं हम लोग ने. If not, then I will just write it. Sin inverse of hyperbolic, that will be just log of x plus root of x square plus 1. And you can easily calculate just sin inverse of hyperbolic equal to z लेके take sin of that. So sin hyperbolic of that, x will be equal to sin hyperbolic of z. Then you just have to solve a quadratic equation and you will get the root. Cos inverse of hyperbolic of x, it will be log of x plus root of x square minus 1. Tan inverse of hyperbolic of x, it will be 1 by 2 log of 1 plus x upon 1 minus x. And if somebody asks what is expansion of sine inverse of hyperbolic x, do you see power series expansion? So it is quite nice one. It will be actually ऐसा एक क्वेश्चन आया था उसमें, NBHM में आया था ये क्वेश्चन. It was not sine inverse of hyperbolic, they were asking about sine hyperbolic, sine inverse of x का expansion. But you see both are similar. Sine inverse of hyperbolic is this, x minus 1 upon 2 x cube upon 3 plus 1 upon 2 3 upon 4 x raised to 5 upon 5. Do you see how beautiful it is? 1 2 3 4 and 5 5, and next will be 1 upon 2 3 upon 4, then 5 upon 6 x raised to 7 upon 7. Nice. You see this is minus here, and next term it will be plus and so on. This is alternate plus and minus. ऐसा. Correct. So NBHM में क्वेश्चन क्या था? It was what is the coefficient of x raised to 7? This is what they have asked. So similarly अगर sin inverse of hyperbolic रहा तो, sin inverse of x रहा तो एक्चुअली वो लोग ने इन्वर्स का पूछा था, नॉट हाइपरबोलिक का. So sin inverse x का क्या रहेगा? सेम थिंग, बट एवरीबडी विल बी प्लस. देयर इज नो अल्टरनेट प्लस माइनस. So it will be x plus 1 upon 2 x cube upon 3 plus 1 upon 2 3 upon 4 x raised to 5 upon 5 plus 1 upon 2 3 upon 4 5 upon 6 x raised to 7 upon 7, and so on. Correct? One more guys, conformal map. This is actually last topic of complex analysis. कोई भी complex analysis का book उठाओगे, you'll get this as the last topic. This is also called angle preserving map. Conformal means angle preserving. The easy way to check whether it is conformal, you just have to find the derivative. If f is analytic in D and f dash has no zero in D, then f is called conformal. Conformal in D. Correct? This is just a definition. Anything else? Yeah, one more interesting thing is this. If somebody asks you that what is residue, or find what is residue of function say 1 upon z square sine hyperbolic of z. Suppose this is the question. What is residue of the function at z equal to 0? Correct? If somebody asks you this, how will you do? See, in this question, both is at z equal to 0, both is 0. Z square is 0 and sine hyperbolic of z there, that is also 0. So you cannot write this function as this form, 1 upon z square and 1 upon sine hyperbolic of z. You cannot write it because this guy is also not analytic at z equal to 0. So both the things are not analytic. So whenever see something like this, remember one thing. What is residue? Residue is, if you write the power series of this, it is coefficient of 1 upon z. Correct? It is coefficient of 1 upon z. So what should you do? This is a nice trick you should remember. Write z square as it is. Write what is the expansion of sine hyperbolic of z. What is expansion of, वो जो साइन का रहता है वही, बस साइन में क्या रहता है, अल्टरनेट प्लस माइनस. हियर देयर वोंट बी अल्टरनेट प्लस माइनस. इट विल बी 1 प्लस z square, sorry, z cube, it will be 1 plus z cube upon 3 factorial. Sorry, first thing it will be z plus z cube upon 3 factorial plus z raised to 5 upon 5 factorial and so on. This is what you are having. क्या करने का? Take something out so that first term should be 1. So can I take z outside? Yes. If I take z outside, it will be what? Z cube. This will be 1 plus z square upon 3 factorial plus z raised to 4 upon 5 factorial and so on. Now you see, अपने को क्या चाहिए था? Just to write the power series of this and what, find the coefficient of 1 by z. If you found the coefficient of 1 by z, we are done. So what I am going to do now, you see, forget about this 1 upon z. 1 upon z cube को साइड में रखो. Find this 1 upon 1 plus z square upon 3 factorial plus z raised to 4 upon 5 factorial and so on. So can I by normal division method, by this, that is, I want to divide this. Here it is 1, here it is this guy, 1 plus z square by 3 factorial, 1 plus z square by 3 factorial plus z raised to 4 by 5 factorial and so on. Suppose here this is what you are having. So क्या करेंगे? This is 1. So do you see now कि 1 की क्यों ज़रूरत थी मेरे को? So it will be at one time 1 into 1, it will be just 1 plus z square upon 3 factorial plus z raised to 4 upon 5 factorial and so on. If you subtract this, you'll be what? This is cancelled, so this will be minus. So it will be I'll write here minus z square upon 3 factorial minus z raised to 4 upon 5 factorial and so on. Other terms will be minus. Do you see? Now what should I multiply to make it as z square by 3 factorial? It is 1, so I'll multiply by minus z square upon 3 factorial. If I multiply with this, so do you see the first term? First term will be minus z square upon 3 factorial, and again it will be minus z raised to 4 upon 3 factorial का square, actually 3 factorial into 3 factorial and so on. जो भी आएगा कुछ तो आएगा. So ये कैंसिल हुआ एंड इधर से जो भी आएगा z raised to 4 कॉमन लेके it will be 1 upon 5 factorial and 1 upon 3, but I don't need actually जो भी कुछ आया, whatever the coefficient here it is. For my this question बाहर 1 upon z cube already है, and from this would be something 1 minus z square upon 3 factorial plus something, I don't know something, कुछ तो रहेगा, I don't care first of all. So what I am going to write this, see, this 1 upon z cube is as it is, and 1 upon this part it will be what? This term, that is 1 minus z square upon 3 factorial and so on, whatever it may be, I don't care. For me these people are not required because I was having 1 upon z cube here. So if I'm having 1 upon z cube here, if I multiply with this, do you see I'm getting the coefficient of 1 by z? This will be 1 upon z cube minus 1 upon 3 factorial into 1 upon z, and whatever, I don't care आगे का term क्या आएगा, but it will be definitely there won't be any term of 1 by z. That is what I am sure with, because you see यहाँ पे z raised to 4 है, तो next term I have to multiply z raised to 4 with something, then I'll be getting z4 का coefficient and वो cancel होगा. So next term z4 आएगा, z6 आएगा and so on. Correct? So I don't care about them. I was having 1 upon z cube here, so just multiply. I'm having first term is 1 upon z cube, second term is 1 upon z into minus 1 upon 3 factorial. I wanted to find residue, so this is my residue. Do you see? Coefficient of 1 upon z. So residue of 1 upon z square sine hyperbolic of z is minus 1 upon 3 factorial, that is minus 1 upon 6. That's it. You see, the question was so easy, but if you see at some instant कि हाँ भाई इसको कैसे solve करें, z square is okay, but sine hyperbolic of z, he is also having the same issue, correct? So this is the technique you should use. See, whatever I am doing, it is not given any book or anything, it is just a logic, and it will help you to do good in the entrance exam. With my experience I can help you with this. Okay, one more part is remaining, but I don't think so I have that much time, so maybe in next lecture we'll do that, some more information. Okay.